Hawkvlog, I think that's how you say it. Hawkvlog 64. My name is Anthony. Or on YouTube I go by Tony Morgan, basically first name, last name. Anyway, I'm responding to your video where you said that you were hearing voices. I was hearing voices myself. Actually, I still do hear voices, but you know, I'll get into the later scenario later. Anyway, I was hearing voices. It started over a 4 year period. So it was weird at first because it was very light. It was very dim. The voices were very clear and spoke fluent English. It was strange to me that these voices just came to me in a very subtle manner. But I would deny it, throw it away and all this stuff. Anyway, look, it wasn't until this year, 2012, that these voices really cornered me, and I felt I felt the need to listen to them and understand that I'm not crazy. Just listen to them. So I listened, and I'm telling you, listening was probably the best thing I ever did. And this is why. One night, about like 2 o'clock in the morning, I got up and felt compelled. Like I just woke up. I was sleeping. I only fell asleep from around 11 o'clock, which is usually about the time I fall asleep. 11 o'clock because I try to go to bed early. I fall asleep at 11 o'clock and I woke up at 2. I remember waking up at 1, but then going back to sleep and then waking up at 2. I constantly wake up in the middle of the night. Um, so anyway, I felt compelled to leave the house. So I got up and I left the house. Got in my car, drove off. I didn't know where I was going, so I guess I was going nowhere at the time. But I ended up driving to my nearby high school. I parked in the the custodian parking lot, and then I drove, and then I walked to the to the football field, which is in the back of the school. Um, there, the voices are there. Obviously, they're always there. But uh, they have this influence over my heartbeat, which was pretty interesting. I don't know if that happened to you, but there's this influence that they have with my heartbeat. Though my heart is supposed to be in the center, my heart was more to the left. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, so then they were trying to tell me to just calm down, and I just stood there. I was standing there until I saw this figure come out of the freaking woods. Remember, it's dark. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's probably like 2:30 at the time. This figure came out of the woods. Very dark figure, like darker than night figure. So it's very distinguishable. When it came out of the woods, it walked towards me at an angle. And then when it when it was walking towards me, it was at a good distance. It started to walk towards me, but then it multiplied. It multiplied into 2, and then it multiplied into 3, then into 4, and then into 5. Each multiplication, it was a smaller replication of itself. It was pretty damn interesting. So all I could do was just stand there and stare and understand that these voices had something to do with me seeing this at the time. So they walk over. They walk over in my direction, but it seemed like they're gliding across the graphic. Now, what they look like, it just seems like a dark figure, not like a human figure. I mean, they were probably about like 4 feet tall. Anyway, and they were all black, not wearing clothes, but it didn't seem like it was just a shadowy figure. Okay, but it wasn't a shadow as in you can see through it. It was very dark, and walking and moving. So then eventually, I got within a range of, I don't know, 20 feet, it started to change. Like some of them started to change, and it was weird the way it was glitching and moving very fast. It changed into a reindeer, not a reindeer with antlers, but a deer without antlers. It was brown, had a white underbody, and it was a deer. And you can tell it was a deer because when it turned into a deer, it had color all of a sudden, and you can hear the hoofs against the floor. So at that point, I was starting to get pretty freaked out that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and it had to do with these voices. And all the while, these voices are controlling my heartbeat. Um, Not to say that they have influence over my heartbeat to make it stop beating, but to the point where I'd be able to hear my heartbeat and feel my heartbeat in my chest. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that after I saw these figures and they got within, touching range, they got frustrated. Um, and at this point, they were all deers, and they just got frustrated, let out some weird sounds like out of frustration, like how a person would do, like like it was weird. And then they all galloped away, and as they were galloping away, I could see their white fluffy tails. Now I tried to do some research myself and look up what kind of deer it might have been. And the only thing I found was that it might have been female deers. Um, but that's about it. Now I still continue to hear voices till this day. I'm gonna leave you another video uh, to finish this segment, unless you want to listen to the whole thing. This voices thing is weird. It's crazy, and I know I'm not crazy. I don't give a fuck what any doctor says, and no medication is gonna solve this. I am not crazy. So I mean, I know I'm not crazy, but when you think about it and you're like, yo, I'm hearing voices, is this crazy or not? You go to anybody at all, they're gonna say that's crazy, and that's gonna be their first response, which is really fucked up. But I don't know. So I know I'm not crazy. So I was never crazy before, so I'm not crazy now. And the way I saw you turn to the side in your video, and you were like, I'm losing sleep over this. I was the same way. I used to just sit there and say shit to apparently who's no one around, but I know who I'm directing these words to, which is these voices. So I understand what you're saying. Um, but like I said, with me, it was over yearly amounts of time. It started a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but like 4 years. I was living in North Carolina at the time when it first started. Right now, I live in New York in Westchester County. Uh, but like I was trying to say to you, the voices carried me for quite some time. They used to actually make me fucking laugh. It was hilarious the shit that they would say to me. Like I would be able to understand some of the things that they say, but sometimes it was as if they didn't want me to understand what they were saying, so they wouldn't say it clearly enough. Sometimes it wasn't really a whisper, but it was a murmur, which was even more annoying because like, okay, you're saying something, but you don't want me to hear what you got to say. It's retarded. Why do you even talk at all? I mean, I start ragging on these voices. But I mean, they have influence not only over my heart, but they had influence to create physical pain. At one point, I was ragging on people or these voices. Anyway, I was ragging on these voices to the point where one of them got frustrated and he said, "Let me put you on to somewhere. Let me put you on to something." And then all I saw, I started to envision a dark figure going like this, right? And rocking back and forth. And the next thing I know, I started to feel pain, like in my skull, like underneath my skull, like against my brain, like something's clawing my brain, and that shit really fucked me up. I mean, I didn't know what to do about that, but hopefully your voices haven't gotten to that point yet. Hopefully you're not antagonizing these beings or extraterrestrial beings or whatever the fuck they are, spiritual beings. Um, but anyway, that's not the furthest it has gone with me and these voices. It has also gone to the point where they cornered me, like I said before. They cornered me with all these words, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. You know, I didn't know who to talk to. You know, I kept trying to look for things that other people were hearing them, but nobody was saying anything. I just see them make an expression which points out that they're hearing the same shit too, or they're going through the same things too. But nobody would say anything. Now I understand why nobody would say anything is because they feel crazy. But I mean, I would have never found your video if I didn't type in voices I hear. And I found your video. I'm glad I found your video. So now I want to tell you that don't antagonize the voices. Because if you do, you never know. I mean, it's not like they're irrational. They're not irrational, but they sure do know how to make a person feel bad. And they made me feel bad to the point where I felt like all I could do is try to join them. And I tried to join them. And my way of doing that was climbing up on an electric pole and trying to grab the wire. I lost my finger because of it. And I almost died. I'm glad I didn't die. Glad I'm alive. I recognize that was a stupid thing, but why I'm saying this is because if you feel that there's nobody to talk to, if you feel like there's no one that's gonna believe you, if you feel like this is just the beginning of a long relationship with you and voices, look, you can talk to me. I analyzed as much as I can analyze about these voices, these spiritual beings, or extraterrestrial beings, because that's what I saw out there in the woods was a friggin' alien. Not only that, I ended up seeing lights in the sky one night, not one morning. Like, I mean, if you feel like you're giving up, man, don't give up. Because there was a few times where I felt like I wanted to give up, but I knew I wasn't crazy. But what else was there? Just don't give up, man. That's all I gotta say. Just don't give up. Because if you give up, you're gonna give up a piece of you, and if you lose that piece of you, it's gonna be really difficult to gain it back. Because it's almost like what you lose is something you gain from from birth till now. And if you give that up, you have to live the process of going through all the experiences you've ever gone through to regain what you gained, what you just lost. So I just wanted to tell you that don't give up. And if you need somebody to talk to, man, send me a video. Like you know, my name is Anthony. I go by the name Tony Morgan, TONIEMORGAN, no spaces. So you can subscribe to me, or I'll subscribe to you. And this is a 14-minute video so far, so I'm just gonna end it before it ends. Hey, look, man, because this happened to me, of course, you know, I was forced to go to the doctor, and the doctor put me on some medication, and they say, "Oh, how's the medication doing?" Well, and I'm like, "Yeah, the medication's doing good, whatever, but the medication isn't doing anything." Okay, the voices are still there. It's almost like the voices are giving me a break because, you know, they understand what extreme I went to. You know, like I said, these voices, they're not irrational, but they're singing to you. That's amazing. They're whispering to you. That's frustrating. And I understand that. What the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, I hear this shit. I know I'm hearing this shit. I hear this shit. And if you're losing sleep over it, I'm pretty damn sure you went through the same thing. So, like I said, man, don't give up. Peace and love, and keep your head up. Whatever you can do, just don't give up. All right. I'm gonna be here. So, send me a video. Let me know you got this.